What do we measure with spirometry? The answer is simple. It is used to measure lung volumes and capacity. So we'll get into it in details. The question will be, what are lung volumes? Lung volume. It is defined as the volume of air in the lungs in a given time during respiratory cycles. Lung volume is the volume of air inside the lungs or in the lungs in a given time during respiratory cycles. Okay? There are different types of lung volumes. The first one is known as tidal volume. Types of lung volume. Number one, tidal volume. Number two is inspiratory reserve volume. Number three, expiratory reserve volume. Number four is residual volume. We have another, okay, four types of lung volumes. And I said number one is tidal volume. So what is tidal volume? This is the volume of air inspired or expired during normal respiration. Tidal volume is the volume of air inspired or expired during normal respiration. Now we have tidal breathing or normal breathing, and we have forceful breathing. Normal respiration and forceful respiration. In other words, you have normal breath and deep breath. As you understand here, you are respiring normally. Okay? There are times you have to take forceful breath. Maybe you take in air forcefully. Forceful deep breath, like or deep or forceful expiration. You take in breath and then you do forceful respiration. So you know that. But tidal volume is a volume of air inspired or expired during normal breathing. Okay? So over here, if you pick the spirometry machine or spirometer, okay? Remember it has a mouthpiece, nose clip, and a monitor. These people walking up and down. Alright. I was saying the spirometer would have the mouthpiece, nose clip, and a monitor. So when you do this experiment, there's going to be graphical representation on the monitor, and that is what you have over here. Okay? So, tidal volume. When you are breathing normally, alright, using a spirometer, you will note you will see the recording on the screen. Normal breathing as you take in air and bring out air. First, when you take in air, the graph moves upwards, okay, from this point to that maximum point. When you inspire, the graph will move up, and then when you expire the air, it comes down. Alright? So inspiration, it moves up, expiration, it comes down. This happens during normal breathing. Are you getting me? So in this way, we will have what is known as the tidal volume inspiration. Okay? Tidal volume inspiration. So when someone inspires air, it moves from here to this point. So let's call this point, this is 0. Alright? This is 1,000, this is 2,000, this is 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 and 6,000. So this point will be what? This point will be what? It's not 3,000, it's below 3,000. Although in some books, that level might be at the point of 3,000. But if you look at this line here, it's below 3,000. So we can call this 2,000, 2,700. Alright? $2,700. So we say that tidal volume inspiration is 2,700. Tap your brain. Tidal volume inspiration is 2,700. And then tidal volume expiration, when you bring out air, the graph moves downwards, okay, to this point. So what do we call that point? What? 2,200. This point should be 2,200. Alright? So in the actual sense, or mathematically, tidal volume is the difference between tidal volume inspiration and tidal volume what? Tidal volume expiration. Okay? So what is tidal volume inspiration? 2,700 minus what? 2,200, right? Which will give you what? Which will give you what? 500 minutes. Okay? Alright. So that is the value for tidal volume. But the physiological range is between 450 to 600 mils. Alright? When the value for tidal volume of your patient falls between 450 to 600 mils, then that person is normal. Okay? Good. Newborn babies will have a tidal volume of 15 to 20 mils. Males normally have tidal volumes that are slightly higher than that of females. It's 600 mils, and then females fall within the range of 450 mils. I hope that is taken. Good. So the next one is inspiratory reserve volume. Inspiratory reserve volume. This is the volume of air that, which is the second line? Huh? So why are you doing that? Put it on. Inspiratory reserve volume is the volume of air inspired forcefully. The volume of air inspired forcefully after or during normal breathing. Okay? You take in air forcefully. Okay? Okay, remember that during normal breathing, expiration it goes up, inspiration it comes down. During inspiration it goes up, during expiration it comes down. Normal breathing, tidal breathing. Okay? And then we are looking at inspiratory reserve volume. Forceful inspiration. You want to take in as much air as possible from the atmosphere into your lungs. So when you do that, you will notice that the spirometer will give a graphical representation that looks like this. You are taking in oxygen forcefully. So the graph moves from here to its peak. Okay? And it returns. To normal. Inspiratory reserve volume. So from this point that is above the tidal volume to this point will give you the inspiratory reserve volume. Alright? So let's solve the mathematics. Inspiratory reserve volume begins from here. Okay? What do we call these points? 2,000, 2,700. And this point over here is what? 5,700. Alright? So mathematically, the inspiratory reserve volume will now be 5,700 mils minus 2,700 mils. What will it give you? 3,000. Okay? So the normal range is between 3,000 to 3,200 meters. But this is in mils. Alright? So it's 3 to 3.2 minutes. Is that clear? Any question? No, sir. Okay, going forward. The next one is the expiratory reserve volume. Expiratory reserve volume. This is the volume of air expired forcefully during normal or tidal expiration. Okay? So you are taking in, you are bringing out as much air as you can from the lungs. The maximum amount of air you can bring out from your lungs into the atmosphere will give you the expiratory reserve volume. Okay? So it actually starts from here. From here down to this point. Okay? Remember, we are breathing normally. Inspiration, expiration, inspiration, and then the expiration is forceful. From here down to this point, and it returns to normal. So from this point to this point will give you the expiratory reserve volume. So what is this point? Yes? 2,200. 2,200. And what is this point here? Is it 1,200? 1,200. Alright? So if you solve the mathematics, what will it give you? 1,000. Alright? Okay, this is 1,100. We're going to give you 1.1. So 2,200 minus 1,100 will give you what? 1,100 liters, which will now be 1.1 million. And that is normal value for the expiratory reserve volume. Then finally, under lung volume, pulmonary volume, you have the residual volume. Residual volume is the volume of volume of air that is remaining in the lungs after a forceful expiration. Okay, the volume of air that is remaining in the lungs after forceful expiration. Okay, remember during the last lung volume we just did, expiration, you expired forcefully. So you are bringing out as much air as you can from the lungs. But no human being can bring out all of the air that is inside the lungs. So there must be some that are still inside the lungs. Because if you bring out all the air that is in your lungs, the lungs will collapse. So the remaining air that is in the lungs after a forceful expiration is known as the residual volume. So we are looking at from this point, alright, from this point down to this point. Remember, this is 0. This point is what? Is it 1 1 or 1 2? Okay. 1,100 minus 0. Huh? It will give you 1,100. So normal range is between 1,100 to 1,200 liters, or 1.1 to 1.2 mils. Very simple. Question? Do we have questions? No. I love this class. I'm in love with this class. Yes. You have another class? Okay, let's quickly run down. By what time? 1. And we still have little time to finish. So what are the functions of residual volume? Number 1, it acts as a buffer for or in between the breaths to accelerate pulmonary capillary flow. It also have a medical legal significance. Okay? It could be used to detect when a baby is still born or if the baby is alive. The doctors use this to detect if the baby is dead in the womb of the mother, or if the baby is alive. So you get to know all of these techniques as you proceed. So we now have to look at lung capacities very quickly. Lung capacities of pulmonary capacities. Respiratory capacities are simply the combination of lung volumes. Okay? Combination of 2 or more lung volumes will give you respiratory capacities. Okay? There are different types. Also, the first one is known as inspiratory capacity. Types of lung capacities. Number A, inspiratory capacities. Number B, vital capacity. Number C is functional residual capacity. And then number D is total lung capacity. Did you get that? Fantastic. So let's start with the first one. Inspiratory capacity. This is the sum of inspiratory capacity is the sum of tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume. We say lung capacities are the combination of 2 or more lung volumes. So inspiratory capacity here simply means the summation of tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume. So what is the value for tidal volume? Tidal volume, yes? Tidal volume, what's the value? 500. Plus inspiratory reserve volume, what's the value? Yes? Quickly, we have another class, please. Yes? 3,000. So if you sum that up, it's going to give you 3,500. Alright? So this is exactly what we are looking at. Inspiratory capacity. Alright? It starts from a tidal volume down to that point over there. Okay. Going forward. Vital capacity Vital capacity is the sum of inspiratory reserve volume and tidal volume and expiratory reserve volume. So three long volumes are being summed to get the vital capacity. Vital capacity is over here. Vital capacity. So it starts from the inspiratory reserve volume, it crosses the tidal volume, alright? And then it reaches the expiratory reserve volume. So, what is the value for inspiratory reserve volume? 3,000. 3,000. What's the value for tidal volume? 500. What is the value for expiratory reserve volume? What? 1,100 or 1,200? Okay. So if you sum that, what will it give you? 4,600. So the vital capacity is 4,600. Good. There are some factors that can affect vital capacity. Number one is age. Alright? It is maximum in young adults. Sex. It is slightly more in males than in females. Height. Okay. Let's say slightly higher in tall people. And in short. Thank God I'm tall. Thank God I'm tall. Good. Alright. Going forward. Normally you know that males are taller than females. Alright? Males are designed to be tall, like me. Alright? So you be a man and you are not tall. I don't want to say God made a mistake. Alright? For females, you know, sometimes they grow taller. Especially if you see females of the same age parameter. I mean, a girl and a boy of the same age parameters. You know, during puberty, you see that this girl is growing taller than the guy. But at some point, they stop. And the males take over. They begin to expand. I mean, the females begin to expand and they begin to grow shorter. Thinking I was short, I was like, okay, shorter like me. But thank God I'm not short. Another factor is posture. Alright? Vital capacity is maximum when a person is sitting. Alright? In a slightly reclined posture. A sitting lying position. Okay? And it decreases in lying down and standing posture. So as I've been standing for some time now, you check my vital capacity, you will find out that it's reduced. And there are also some physiological and pathological factors that can influence the vital capacity. Alright? It decreases in pregnancy. Alright? And this is due to the inability of the diaphragm to move downwards and respiratory. Alright? Thereby making a vital capacity to take it. So, if you want to know whether a woman is pregnant, besides doing the pregnancy test, you can do the vital capacity. Check it. Alright, you find out that it's decreased. Then that young man should close his mouth so that fly will not enter inside. Tapping. Okay, we'll sit up. Okay. So of course the uterus is big in pregnancy. Okay, and it's prevents free movement of the diaphragm during the respiratory cycle, and that impacts on the vital capacity. So in pathological situations, alright, such as neurological diseases, which affect muscles of respiration, in children with poliomyelitis, right? The vital capacity is also decreased. Diseases of muscles such as myasthenia gravis. I hope you did the cytology tissues. Did you come across this disease? Fantastic. The vital capacity is decreased. And in diseases of the lung and the pleura. Okay? It also has some significance. So the vital capacity has prognostic value during treatment of respiratory problems. It can be used to assess the progress of chronic diseases like emphysema, alright, pulmonary emphysema, alright. If there is a rapid reduction in the vital capacity, it means that the disease is not reducing, or the patient is not getting better. Okay, the disease is getting worse, and it can lead to mortality, deaths of the patient. Okay, high mortality rate. Alright, so these are some of the things we check. During, when the patient is sick, every now and then, the nurses be checking the vital signs. If respiration is normal, temperature is normal, BP is normal. So through this, you can actually know if the patient is getting better or worse. Okay, the next one is functional residual capacity. Functional residual capacity. Functional residual capacity is the sum of expiratory reserve volume and residual volume. Functional residual capacity is over here. And we say it's the sum of expiratory reserve volume and residual volume. So from here down to this point. What's the value for expiratory reserve volume? What? 1,100 plus residual volume is what? What? Speaker, are you hungry? Will you take wheat? Will you take wheat? And the young man says it gives energy. Abi? No be so. Okay, what's the value for residual volume? Okay, 1,200, right? So if you sum that, it will give you what? Good. Significance of functional residual capacity. You can go and check that out. Okay? And then the last one is the total lung capacity. Total lung capacity is the sum of tidal volume an inspiratory reserve volume, an expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume. The sum of the tidal volume, an inspiratory reserve volume, an expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume. So it actually takes the whole of the long volumes together. From here to this point will give you the total lung capacity. So, what is the value for tidal volume? 500 plus what? 3,000. $3,000 plus what? $1,100. You put in dollars now. Sure. Plus what? Plus 1,200 naira. Okay, so if you sum that, what does it give you? Good. The total lung capacity decreases in pulmonary edema and pneumothorax. Okay? So when someone has pulmonary edema or pneumothorax, we find out that this total lung capacity will decrease. So there is a problem. Okay? Good. The next thing we'll look at is forced spirometry. Forced spirometry. Maybe we'll do that in our next class. I know you don't have questions, so